Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today, if I'm right about this, there is something extremely weird in this box. Dare I say, one of, if not the weirdest things that I've ever shown on this channel. And I believe it's their intention that I give it away, which I will do. But for today, I'm just going to be sharing its existence with you guys, not reviewing it, just showing it off. Also for me, I can't wait to get in there. Thanks so much to Katsu for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. To my knowledge, this is available. So I'm actually going to be cutting through this protective. This is the only time I've ever seen something like this shipped like that. Yeah, it was so lightweight that I was questioning whether or not something was actually in there. I was like, whatever's in this package got stolen. But no, I don't think so. I will link this in the description if you want to pick it up. It is not cheap, but I think it's pretty crazy. So just because I'm showing it doesn't mean that I'm necessarily like a fan of the aesthetic. Just know that. But weird and crazy stuff is definitely worth talking about. So we have a package or some, boy, is it like glued on there? We have some packaging that I have never seen before. I wonder if the intention is for me to just remove it. I'm going to. I'm just going to remove it. Yeah, I think that is actually the intention. It is really sealed in there. Oh, it's really in there. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Oh boy. Let me figure out. I think it's actually wrapped again. So we're going to go ahead and pull the knife out, and then we're going to unwrap it. I don't think I'm going to classify this before we even get it out as an art knife. Now, I've reviewed many, I guess, in heavy quotes here, exotic pieces of cutlery on this channel. I don't think anything quite like this. It has a flower on it. Wow. Okay, so it is quite a bit smaller. Man, the lengths they went to protect this was crazy. I mean, between how they shipped it, you know what? There's Damascus and stuff on this, and I believe those are the inlays. I forget. I always say pearl, but there's a better word for it, and I always forget. I'm gonna put gloves on, not because I think that it's delicate, and it might be, but just to keep my fingerprints off it so that you guys can look at it. Let's actually get a close up here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is all Damascus. The flower, not my favorite pivot design choice, but I think there's a theme going on here, and I'm just going to accept it. I'm going to accept that it exists. I have no idea what the blade is made out of, but this is obviously layered. Perhaps, is it like copper and steel layered together for the blade? We have a full Damascus frame. We have some, pearl is the wrong word, but those are the inlays here. And truthfully, there's a couple of, maybe, or is that just my imagination? That's my imagination. There's nothing sticking up there. Wow, really? It looks like there's something sticking up. No, that is completely my imagination. Okay, well, trick of the camera there. Oh, the blade is on this side. Oh, man, I am totally lost here. Is that a lanyard bar? Okay, all right. I think enough is enough. Let's, oh, whoa, this is a friction, not even a friction folder. What on earth? Okay, this is the most exotic letter opener I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that is legitimately, boy, it is nice though. It's really, really super smooth. I have nothing on my channel is like this. Most of the hyper exotic, extreme, this or that stuff that I review is still, I don't know, let's be lazy and say tactical, right? I hate that word, but let's be lazy and use the word tactical. I mean, it's stuff like that, right? I mean, I definitely review lots of knives that are so high end that the average person would not buy them and use them, but are still knives that you could take out and use fairly hard and still, the knife would still be fine. This is much more of a desk ornament. Now, I'm thinking the same thing as you guys. Katsu, if you're going to make stuff like this, you cannot put your logo on the blade. I mean, love or hate the aesthetic, I think we can all agree that that kind of kills it. There's almost like a sense of immersion with this knife, and the immersion is completely broken by the Katsu logo. But let's get around that for a second and actually look at the blade. What on earth? Is it all the same material, or is there gold or brass and copper layered in? And then we have something mirror polished on the back. What is this even made out of? Is there something inside? I'm going to take my glove off for a second. The details of this, I mean, the knife will absolutely be linked in the description. So any details you're looking for will be there, right? The listing will actually be there. But I'm just going to go ahead and touch it now that we've had a good chance to look at it. A lot of titanium. It is so unbelievably lightweight. That's why I thought that there wasn't actually anything there. Let's weigh it. I don't know what the blade is. Knowing Katsu, I mean, if you're not familiar with Katsu, this is a company that definitely makes some like pretty standard stuff. And they make some hyper exotic stuff, right? Like the KS-T1 and KS-Z1, which are knives that much more along the lines of what I was talking about. Definitely expensive knives. I mean, honestly, pretty well priced considering what they're made out of, right? But not only exotic materials, but an absolutely usable form, right? In that case, we have the clad ZDP 189 that's been, DLC coated and polished. We have the zirconium and zirconium Damascus frame with the titanium frame lock, right? Very, very crazy, high, special, shiny, blah, blah, blah. But if you wanted to, you could physically take the knife out and use it. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't do this. Couldn't do the same thing with this knife, but what you would use this knife for is definitely more of like letter opening, stuff like that. This is, I 100% classify this as very, very, very niche under niche under niche collector, art knife collector enthusiast, right? Which is, again, not the type of stuff that I normally show. But I had to say yes to this because it was just bizarre. So it's really, that action's really nice. And, everything is nice and centered. Beautifully centered. Really, really, I mean, as far as like the machining, very delicate. I mean, it was definitely, I'm going to say machine made, but perhaps some hands-on elements. I don't know how much, but really quite a bit of complexity there. 1.55 ounces. What on earth? Wow. Love or hate the aesthetic, a lot of thought went into this. This is all crowned too, by the way. It is a core. Look at that. Yeah, there's a core. So, okay. I wonder what the core is. I mean, I guess I could have guessed that, right? Because you can see, right? It's not a real, I guess not a real Hammond. I don't know. I don't do that. I can't classify that correctly. But what the core is, I have no idea. Very, very wild. I don't know of any other production knife companies that are doing anything quite like this. Katsu is a unique brand. They make knives that are, I believe, sub 100, and then they put some of the I mean, like, not everybody needs to be rushing out and buying $400 knives. But I don't know about you. I don't see a lot of $400, $450 knives that have full zirconium front scales with zircotite overlays and are ZDP 189 with, DLC polished blades. Usually, even when it is a Chinese production company that's doing really good, high-end, super complex production work, usually that stuff is still coming in $600, $700, $800, $900, $1,000. And you can forget it if it's made in the United States. You might as well forget about it, right? You're talking way over $1,000, multi-thousand in a lot of cases, right? So they're making stuff like that, and somehow, and it's all real, right? It's not a joke. They're heat treating the stuff correctly. It's real DLC, real ZDP 189, real Damascus, real zirconium. but they're putting it together in in a time period where, everything costs substantially more than it used to. They're coming in way under what other people are doing. Furthermore, I can't say that I've ever seen a company like that do something like this. I've seen things like this before, but not. This is weird. This is wild. This is going to be given away. Somebody's going to win this. It's not a cheap object to create, whether or not it has a functional purpose in this universe versus its much more obvious and more utilitarian, more economic competition. I mean, we don't need to point that out. Obviously, you can buy a $25, $30 knife and it's going to perform better, right? It's going to be more convenient. This exists. Here it is. It's wild, and I'm going to give it away, probably on a live stream. Thank you very much to Katsu for donating it to the channel. Very cool, very different. I would like to learn about it. I can't promise you're going to get a full Metal Complex review. For something like this, it's kind of hard to review something like this, right? But you might get a full overview video with all the details. In the meantime, like I said, links in the description where you can check out all of the little details for this guy. That's going to be pretty much it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.